Alright, so this is how to invest in the stock market as a beginner, step by step. I don't want to waste too much time for the first part of the video because I am going to show you how to invest in the stock market step by step. Everything from choosing a brokerage to creating your own account and actually funding it and investing. Before I begin, I want to make this disclaimer that I am not a financial advisor. Nothing in this video is financial advice. This video is simply for educational purposes. Alright, now that that is out of the way, let's jump into the step-by-step guide. The first thing you want to do is pick a brokerage account. Okay, so when you pick an investment brokerage account, you don't want to get too caught up into which account is better. I know that you can get analysis paralysis and overwhelmed when you're first beginning, and you may get turned off by that. I know that it happened to me, but I promise you investing is not as hard as it may seem. So I suggest not to spend too much time on this step because honestly, most accounts are very similar and it doesn't necessarily matter which brokerage account you pick. I personally went with M1 Finance because their user interface was easy to use, and honestly it's just the best brokerage account for the type of investment that I wanted to do at the time. But you could pick Robinhood, Vanguard, Fidelity. Honestly, there's a lot of great accounts out there, which is why it's so easy to get caught up and waste a lot of time researching the best one. For the purposes of this tutorial though, I will be showing you how to use M1 Finance to invest because that's the account that I have. When I first opened my account, I opened what it's called a traditional IRA, which just means you don't get pre-tax on your money. But if you want to open a Roth IRA, then go ahead and do so. I actually think that Roth IRAs are better than traditionals, but when I first created my account, I didn't know the difference. So I went with the traditional, and Roth IRAs just basically means that your money is taxed into your account, so you don't necessarily have to worry about paying taxes in the future when you go and use your money. Okay, so for this part of the tutorial, I'm going to be moving into my desktop. I'm going to be showing you exactly how to buy the S&P 500 fund, and then we'll go from there. Now, this part of the video is not scripted, so you probably will hear me say a lot of ums and ahs. I normally script my videos to avoid this, but this part of the tutorial, I couldn't really script it. Well, I guess technically I could have, but it would have just been hard. So this is technically live, so I do apologize in advance if I do stutter or say a lot. I am definitely going to try to edit out some really bad takes, but we'll see if we can get this all in one take. After you've created your account, I can't show you this because I did try to create a new account, but it does ask you for your birthday, it asks you for your social security, and once you have an account, M1 Finance does not let you use another account. I was trying to use another account under a different name because I didn't want to have to blur out a lot of stuff, a lot of information. But ultimately, it does ask you for your social security because you are dealing with securities, you are dealing with money. And obviously, if you're buying, trading, or selling, then the IRS is going to need that information. So it is going to ask you for your social security. So don't panic; just put it in. It's perfectly fine. I did it 5 years ago, and nothing has happened. And so, but that means that you can only have one account. Technically, you can have multiple investments accounts within this one. So for example, this is my individual. This is just a regular IRA, like I mentioned before. Mine is not a Roth IRA. If I wanted to, I could add another account and make it a Roth IRA. But it's all under my name, my original name, my actual name, not my YouTube name. And it's under my social security, so I can't technically create a whole new account because it is going to ask me for my social security, and I can't provide a fake one. I don't recommend you do that. I mean, I don't actually know if it'll work, but I don't recommend you do that. So for the purposes of this tutorial, unfortunately, I'm going to have to blur out a lot of stuff because I don't want to dox myself. But once you've created your account, you're going to land on this page. Well, technically, you'll land on home, and it'll say welcome, blurred. I'm blurring my real name because I don't want to dox myself. And then it'll tell you your M1 net worth of your portfolio account. And it'll tell you the name, it'll give you the date of the inception, which was for me January 9th of 2020, so 5 years ago. And it gives you a quick overview. I don't want to go into too much depth of how M1 Finance works at overall. You can find tutorials on YouTube for that, and it's pretty easy if you just click around. I mean, 1 to 2 days of being in this app or this desktop app, you should be able to pick up on how it works, which is why I really like M1 Finance, because their UI is really easy to use and it's really beginner friendly, and I've been able to do everything just fine. So I don't want to waste too much time because I don't want to make this video too long, but I do want to get through a couple of things. So Yeah, so you'll land in this home tab, and then if you look onto your left hand side, you'll see home, earn, spend, invest, borrow, and research. What we want to do is we want to go straight to research, and you'll see that it says stocks, funds, crypto, my pies, watch list, model portfolios. um, I don't know what all of these do. I haven't been on this side of my portfolio in a while, but I do know what stocks and funds mean. So stocks, if you click the tab, basically gives you all the stocks that are available in the stock market through M1 Finance. So you can see there's Google, Nvidia, Microsoft, Amazon, all of that good stuff. It gives you the market cap, the dividend yield, pricing history, and the percentage ratio. But we don't want to focus on stocks. What we want to focus on is funds, because this investment strategy is for beginners, and this investment strategy is basically investing into the S&P 500. So again, the S&P 500 just means that you're investing in the top 500 and Fortune 500 companies within the stock market for America, I believe. So those are things like Apple, Microsoft, I don't know, Google. I don't necessarily remember exactly how many stocks are in the make up the S&P 500, but you could easily Google that. And the reason why this is such a beginner friendly strategy is because if you when you're learning to invest, you may not necessarily know which stocks are good to pick. Now, I personally picked Apple, Amazon, Tesla when I was first beginning. I didn't know about the S&P 500. I didn't know that there was already a fund out there that had all of these stocks already in them. And so that's what I want to teach you guys today. So basically, yeah, just go to the funds tab, and the ticker symbol is going to be VOO, Vanguard S&P 500. Technically, it's an ETF. It's not really an index fund. I won't get into too much about what those mean, but yeah. So on the left hand side, if you can't find it, you can obviously navigate through the page through this next button. If you click it, you'll be able to navigate through all the funds that M1 Finance has available for the stock market. And if there's a specific fund or stock that you need to look for and you can't find it, there's this really neat search bar here where you can come in here. If you don't see it, I think the VOO S&P 500 is always on the first page. But if it wasn't, for example, if you didn't know where it was, if you kept clicking, you couldn't find it, then you would come in here and search up VOO. And if you don't know the name of the ticker symbol of a stock or a fund, that's very easy to find. You just Google. If you know which stock or company or fund you want to invest in, you can always just Google, hey, what is the ticker symbol for the S&P 500 index fund, or ETF in this case, and that'll tell you that it's VOO. So once you've found VOO, you want to go ahead and click it. And as you can see, it'll bring you to this page, which is basically just showing you, I guess, the performance of the fund over the years. So you can look at the fund in one date interval, 1 week, month, 3 months, 6 months, year to date, 1 year, 2 years, and then 5 years. Now, M1 Finance specifically doesn't go over 5 years. There's another tool that you can use if you want to research stocks or index funds. I don't want to go into that in this video. I will have a separate video for that, but the website is called Seeking Alpha, I believe. And if you search up Seeking Alpha on Google, that tool I feel like is way better for research purposes. But what you want to do is when you're looking at these graphs, we'll do 5 years, for example. What you want is a gradual increase in the fund or in the stock that you're looking for. In this case, we're looking at the S&P 500, which again it's looking at the Fortune 500 companies of the stock market. So it's a really good diversification tool, and it's also a really safe investment. Now, I do want to preface that I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice, but historically, the S&P 500 has given us a rate of return of 7 to 8%, sometimes 10% annually. That is not guaranteed, though. However, there have been years where the S&P 500 index or ETF fund performs better. It could perform, I think last year it did 15 or 16%, or sometimes it performs worse. I don't know if it's ever gone to 4%. Maybe it has, maybe it hasn't. I don't remember, and I haven't looked too much into it. but relatively speaking, this is probably one of the safer funds or ETF funds that you can invest in. And this is one of the funds that you can invest in and still become a millionaire. There's been a lot of case studies out there where people have become millionaires by literally just investing in the S&P 500. So this is one of the funds that that is really good for that. This is a set it and forget it type of investment strategy, and I love those. It's boring. It's not lucrative. You're not trading options. You're not trading. It's very boring. You buy it once, you put in your portfolio once, and then you keep funding it, and you don't sell. That's the most important part. But anyways, as you can see, it has its ups and it has its downs. It was up in February of 2022, but then it went down in October of 2023. So it can go up and it can go down, but you don't necessarily. This is one of those funds or stocks, whatever you want to call them, that you buy and you hold for life, essentially. So anyways, enough rambling. After you've gotten to this page, you want to go ahead and hit add to portfolio. You click whichever account you have. Again, I might have to blur some stuff out, so I do apologize. And then the securities have been added. After this, you have to edit your pie. Your pie is going to basically make up of 100% of all of your stocks or funds that you want. So for example, my pie is already at 100%, so I have to remove 1% or change a few of the percentages. And the one that and I think when you first start, if you're creating this as your first time, you won't have to worry about this because you won't have anything on your pie. So you don't necessarily have to worry about this. It should be at 100% for you automatically. But for me, I have to delete a few things. So the one I'm going to delete is actually this one, the SPY. I did this as part of a tutorial just to make sure that everything was working. But there we go. So now we're at 100% of 100%. So after you've done this, you just want to go ahead and hit save. And it tells you which ones you got you removed, or if you change the percentage of a few, it'll tell you which ones you edited. And then it'll also tell you which ones you've updated. So we'll go ahead and hit confirm. And then now we're back into the individual, or into your account, where it shows you the history of your portfolio, how much it's worth, how much cash you have, and then everything else. So now if we go down here, again, I have 16 slices, you will only have one slice, so yours is not going to look like this. But once you've come down here, once you've scrolled down to your slices, you'll see that there's nothing here because, there's no performance. So what you want to do is you want to click on it, and this is where you come in here and buy. It's very important to note that when you put money into your account, it'll technically be under the cash portion of your portfolio. Just because you put money in here, once you've transferred money into your account, that doesn't mean that you've already invested in it. That just means you funded the account. And even if you have one slice here, which is the VOO index fund, or I'm sorry, the EOO ETF fund, and you put money in here, that doesn't mean that the job is done. You still have to go and buy the shares. So this cash here is actually dividend income. I didn't add this myself. I just, this is just through dividends. Let's see if we can use this to buy partial shares of the index or of the S&P 500. I don't think it'll work, but we can give it a shot. But basically, yeah, you'll click on your VOO, and it'll take you to that window. Once you're in here, you can see some of the upcoming activity that you have and a few kind of like current event things that are happening with that stock or that fund. As you can see, it says, is this Vanguard ETF a millionaire maker? I mean, again, this ETF fund has, a lot of good reputation behind it. I'm sure some bad reputation, but some really good reputation behind it. So once you've clicked on your stock or fund that you want to actually invest in, you'll have, it'll tell you how much money you have in that stock. The most important part is to come in here and hit buy. and it tells you how much cash you have. So if you deposit $500, $100, $80 a month into this account, it'll come in this cash portion. What you need to do is you need to hit buy, and then once you come in here, I think, sorry, if I go back, I don't know if it'll tell you how much it's, oh, it'll tell you the price right here. So if you scroll, once you're in this page, once you scroll down on markets, it'll tell you the price of the fund or of the stock that you're wanting to buy, and it'll give you I think this was Friday, February the 14th at 4 p.m. So as of February the 14th, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the price of the S&P 500 closed at $560 with 69 cents, and then it kind of gives you a daily percentage of how much it went up or down and by how many cents or whatever. You don't necessarily have to pay too much attention into this, other than maybe just the price of what you're buying. But again, M1 Finance, I am pretty sure it lets you buy fractional shares, kind of like Robinhood. So you don't necessarily have to have the $500 for having a actual share of the fund. But this means this is the price of one share of the S&P 500 or whatever stocks you're looking at. So if we hit buy, and we come in here, and let's see if it'll let us use my $10. I think I have to do all of 10, and we hit confirm buy. Buy order place will execute it during the next morning trade window. Okay, so it did let me do it. So you can buy fractional shares of certain funds and stocks. I kind of knew this, but I wasn't entirely sure. I didn't want to confirm anything, so yeah, that's basically what you'll do. And then it'll just tell you that, it's pending. And for upcoming activities, as you can see, it's trading. You're buying two. Well, actually, why is it telling me there's two buys? There should only be. Why is it telling me I'm gonna buy this? Okay, I don't remember if I bought this, but I think I did. Yeah. I don't remember, but it should have the buys. And it's good to note that the trading windows for M1 Finance, depending on which account type you have, I think there's a gold version where you can buy and sell outside of market hours, but the free version, the free version, the one that I have, only lets you buy whenever the stock market opens up, which is Monday through Friday, 9:30 to technically for M1 Finance 3 p.m. So now that's it. You don't have to do anything. Now you can go back to your account. You can go back home, and then you should be able to see it here. You should have this little two-way street kind of, well, not really two-way street, but you should have this two arrows encapsulated by a green dot, meaning that you're buying. And I'm pretty sure if you're selling, it'll show the same, but instead of it being green, it'll be red. But that is basically it. It also will tell you your next trade window. That's basically it. I hope I didn't leave anything out. As you can see, this is just showing you the performance of your portfolio. You can come in here, play around with it. I am gonna have to blur out a lot of stuff, just again to make sure that I don't dox myself. But that's basically it. That's basically how you invest in the stock market as a beginner, step by step. I hope that this made sense. This tutorial made sense. Again, this part of the tutorial was not scripted, and so I hope I didn't leave anything out. I think I got everything. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for the support on the previous on my previous videos. You guys have been killing it. Continue to like, continue to subscribe, and if you have any questions, leave those down in the comments down below. I definitely read those. I'm not big enough to where I don't read comments. I definitely read and respond to all my comments, and I'll see you guys on the next video.